That's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't hate all men. Obviously, I don't hate all men. Okay? Okay? Some are great. Not all, like, okay. Okay, this is the thing. If you're the type of person, okay, I'm just going to say something really quick. If you're the type of person who says not all, I've had this conversation yesterday and the day before. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just, okay. I know this. I know not all men are bad, okay? But when enough of them have taken advantage of you, try to do things that are fucked up, made you think you could trust them, and then fucked everything up, it gives me and plenty of other people enough reason to not trust them or to fear them in general. I don't trust a lot of people anyways. Not all men, but enough to make me worry. Like, it shouldn't be any, right? And I'm not even saying that women aren't a part of the problem. Obviously, there's women that are part of the problem. I know this. I'm not saying that women aren't part of the problem. I am in no way, shape, or form saying that, right? However, predominantly, it is men. Predominantly, men are coming into my chat and attacking me and sexualizing me and trying to shame me for existing as a woman, right? And yet, when I even say, I made a tweet, right? Y'all remember the tweet? You guys remember the tweet that I said where I said it's not hard to not sexualize female streamers, right? I said it's not hard to not sexualize female streamers. Do you know how many men came into that tweet and started showing other women, female streamers, dressed in a certain way and said, well, maybe if you stop dressing like this. What am I wearing right now? Why the fuck does it matter? Why does the issue of me wearing a long sleeve or a tank top dictate how you should treat me? Huh? Fernie, I'm not saying it's you, by the way. I never said you. This is the thing. I never said you. I never specifically said it was you. Don't assume it's about you. Anyways, yeah, no, I'll speak out against it. Anyways, regardless, I will speak out against that shit because, like, oh, wait. Lost Spirit, that's a really good quote. This is a thing someone said along the lines of, if one man is in a room full of women, he's in heaven, but if one woman is in a room full of men, she's afraid. All I can do is clap to that. All I can genuinely do is clap to that. Because that's what it is. Yeah. Anyways. It's just... yeah, that puts things in a really good perspective. If someone's wearing a cup, can I kick in the balls? On the way they're asking for it, they were... Exactly, that's the thing. The issue is that... Like, I swear to God, I promise I'm going to play Minecraft. I promise I'm going to play Minecraft. I swear to God I will. This just needs to be something that's talked about because I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of streamers don't really go down this path, but I really don't give a shit if a bunch of men try to come at me for saying this. Within being afraid of men in general, right? I've had people that I thought I could trust, that were men, do things that were less than honorable. I've been blamed for said things, even though I already said that I was uncomfortable, okay? And yet, in a 25-page research paper that I wrote, citing a ton of different sources, so many different research articles, so many different case studies, right? Anytime research is done They acknowledge that, yes, men can also be victims. And when men are victims, they should be taken seriously. They should absolutely be taken seriously. They should absolutely be felt that they're, accepted, right? If something happens to someone, if a man is victimized, whether it be by another man or another woman or a non-binary person, right? That doesn't change the fact that predominantly men are the perpetrators of, I don't know if I should say it because I don't know how Twitch handles things like this, but there's a lot more fear if a woman is with a lot of people that are men than a man being around a lot of women, right? It's just, it's one of those things, right? It's hard for people to understand that. And I understand, I've had to explain this to guy friends of mine as well, right? I've had guys say that they're uncomfortable, right? They're like, I don't like when people say kill all men, right? I don't love that either. I just say, I say things like, oh, I hate when men, right? Men have the audacity, right? But I try to explain to them that they need to understand, a lot of people in general need to understand that especially in women's personal experiences, they have learned, not even been taught, they have learned through personal experience that men in general, from personal experience, have attacked women, right? Have gone after vulnerable groups, vulnerable people, age, gender, race, etc., right? They go after vulnerable people to benefit from them, whether it's sexual benefit, monetary benefit, etc. And the thing is, when a man sees a woman explaining that, I've had times where I try to say, I was really uncomfortable with this. I voiced that I was uncomfortable with this and someone still stepped over my boundaries. And all of a sudden, I have guys being like, well, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. Great. That's awesome. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like that. But are you the type of person that calls them out for their behavior? If you're not the type of person that does that to someone, are you the type of person that calls someone out for that shitty behavior? Do you stop people if you see one of your friends trying to get someone drunk for their own benefit? Do you stop them? That applies to both genders. That applies to any gender. Sorry, not both genders. That applies to anyone individual. Whatever, right? Does not matter. If you see someone with predatory behavior, you should call them out. Right? It's great. If I see someone just going, I would never do that. Men aren't like that. Not all men are like that. Okay. But are you going to call them out for it? Hold your friends accountable for shit. There are so many people that say, oh my God, I never saw it coming. I had no idea. It's like, if you look at their behaviors, if you look at the way that they interact and talk about women, that's usually a really good indicator of the type of person that they can be. Right? If you saw it happening, would you stop it? Unfortunately, that is a weird line that some people don't get. And I understand it can put people in very uncomfortable situations, but do you know how much worse it is for that person that's going through it? I would have loved for people to stand up for me with the shit that I was going through. I've had to reach out to people to ask them to help me. I've had someone stalk me and go after me despite me blocking everything, right? I had to reach out to someone else that they knew to get them to stop. It took another man stopping them. That's it. It's great if you don't do that, but if you call other people out, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hi. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for hopping on that soapbox. I'm really not sorry for hopping on that soapbox. That's something that definitely needs to be said, needs to be called out for. Hallucinating. Thank you for the tier
Speaking the
1.
truth, 3.
Yeah, no, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, but yeah, it's just one of those things. We're gonna play Minecraft now. I promise. Yeah. Feminine applause. Yeah. It's really nice to see people say like, thank you for saying that. But it's also really sad to see people like praising me for saying that. Like, that's something that should be said more. It's absolutely something that should be said more. It's something that should be acknowledged and normalized, right? But yeah. Also, Kwam is absolutely right. The stories are very personal, I understand, but unfortunately TOS is an issue. Be careful with ages. Don't say ages. Get careful. Be close to some of those. Be careful to some of those things. Just for your safety, and so I don't get banned off of Twitch. But yeah. The bar is low. Yes, the bar is low, right? Banana Beta, what happened? Nothing specific happened. I'm just calling out stuff. Like, I'm calling out misogyny and men, not calling out other men for being shit. Ladies, it applies to you as well, obviously. Non-binary friends, applies to you as well. The entire spectrum, everyone, every single gender. Gender is a fucking construct. I don't even like saying gender. Anybody, just call other people out. Also, thank you for using non-triggering language. Yep. I wrote a 25-page paper researching sexual assault and why people don't address it. I've had to say it so many times, but I know for Twitch, you specifically need to be careful of the audience because, one, my audience is not a professor that's been working in the criminal justice realm for so long, right? So a lot of people that can be very triggering for. So I don't want to ever just make it all of a sudden like, oh, shit, yeah, people need to be held accountable. Hold your friends accountable. Hold strangers accountable. Hold random fucking old people you see on the street accountable. One last thing. Once the normal behavior is calling everyone out, right? Once the normalized behavior is not being a bystander, but being an active person calling out shit behavior or shitty things that someone's doing, things are going to get much better. Obviously, bad things will still happen, but once you stop normalizing letting people get away with shit because you just don't want to start trouble, could you imagine what that's like being on the side where you're not being protected? Even just checking to see how someone's doing, right? There's someone who, like, they thought someone was their boyfriend. So they didn't want to do anything, but all they did is pretend that they were the girl's friend and was like, hey, come with me. Oh my gosh, where have you been? Right? Ask the girl. The girl was like, I have no idea who he is. All you got to do is check, right? And there's been situations where girls have reached out for other girls and all of a sudden, like, there's one, right? There's one where this guy was jokingly flirting with his girlfriend in public, right? And another girl, like, came up, right? And was like, oh my gosh, hi, like, did that thing, right? Did that public thing where you're like, oh my God, hey, how have you been? What have you been up to? Right? Making sure that the other girl was okay. And she was like, oh, he's my boyfriend. Like, that's a good thing that she still was, like, making sure just in case, right? It's as simple as that. Yes. Half the time men back off when you tell them I have a boyfriend. Yes. Like, if you belong to someone for some reason, if you belong to someone for some reason, that makes... I hate that. Oh my God. Okay, this is one thing I've noticed a trend with people I have talked to. People don't take... People don't take non-cis or gay relationships seriously. That is something I've seen so much. If someone says a partner, my girlfriend, all of a sudden they're like, well, would you be down for a threesome? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I get I get a lot of rage behind that shit. Because that's one, incredibly invalidating to non-hetero presenting relationships. What the fuck? Yeah, like if you tell someone, I have a girlfriend, they're like, well, she doesn't have to know. I can make you straight. I can do this. It's like, what the fuck is your problem? Yeah, someone's relationship is not for your pleasure, right? It's just yes, that's the thing. Like as a bisexual person, I'm terrified. Like if I meet a girl, right? We start dating. A guy comes up to me, says, "Hey girl." I'm like, "I have a girlfriend." I immediately know if I say that, he's going to say some shit like, "Oh, is she hot? Maybe I can talk to her." I bet you guys would like, nah. No. Just as an ace, I'm being told I can be turned down and I can be turned and or my identity's invalid. Oh, asexual people are so fucking valid. Holy fuck. Oh my god, asexual people are so valid. I hate that. I've seen a lot of that shit. I've seen a lot of that, like, well, even if you're asexual and you're 25 years old, it's just because you haven't been whatever right. Get in the fucking car and leave before I find a reason to follow you home. But yeah, just like I'm not asexual. I can't speak on behalf of people that are asexual, but I can say for a fact that you are so fucking valid. Like your intimacy, your sexuality is no one else's business. And that's something I also hate. I've had a lot of people assume that I'm a cis straight woman, right? I am cis because I am she her. However, it's like the whole gender thing we were talking about earlier, right? The whole gender idea of like, yes, my pronouns are she her. However, sometimes I lean towards the other side, right? Not all the time. I'm not gender fluid. However, there's things like that. But I have so many people just immediately attack me for being a cis straight woman even though I'm bi. And that's something that is really scary for me.